What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, Men's back out with another review, and today we are going to be reviewing the final addition to the Lilo and Stitch review series, that of course being what this has all been building up to, the Lilo and Stitch 2025 live-action remake, and there should be a ranking coming out soon as well, either tomorrow or on Sunday. But before we get into actual begin the review itself, guys, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, because number one, it's absolutely free. Number two, also maybe help with YouTube algorithm, recommend it to more people, and maybe they could join the chat. And do feel free to comment your thoughts on the Lilo and Stitch 2025 live action remake down below. But with that being said, guys, let's get right to let's give a quick plot synopsis of the film, shall we? So transition into
the wildly funny and touching story of a lonely Hawaiian girl and the fugitive alien who hopes to mend her broken family.
Alright, so walking into Lilo and Stitch 2025 live action remake, when they announced it at first, I was going, out of all the Disney live action remakes that have been announced, that could work. I can see in the near distance possibly a live action remake that could work. However, as well, I had my doubts because most of all the Disney live action remakes has not really worked for me. Like, I could probably count on one hand how many live action remakes I love, and then probably like maybe an additional 3 that I like. Like, I love the Jungle Book 2016 live action remake. I think that surpasses the original. I love the Cinderella from 2015. I love the Pete's Dragon remake that came out in 2018, I believe. So yeah, there's a couple of them I like. So after that, the trailers started dropping, little by little. We got little tease of what Stitch looked like, and I thought the CGI looked pretty good for him. And the marketing for this film is actually that got me even more excited for it, because I thought they were doing a good job at planning Stitch around like different little tiny places to build up to this film. So I thought that definitely hooked my attention, and from the trailers they looked cute enough. So with that being said, let's get into the actual beginning of the review itself, shall we? Alright, so starting off with the good here, we always start off with the good for our movie reviews here. And the CGI for the aliens, I think they all look good. So, of course, I mentioned Stitch. The CGI for him looks good. I think the CGI for the Grand Councilwoman looks good as well. Pleakley and Jumba also looked good. While I admit with Jumba, he still kind of looks very, very creepy in this movie. But the CGI is good for him, I will admit. But, yes, good CGI in this. I as well do think that this still keeps that like comedic charm from the first film, and they add a couple new segments in here for a bunch of laughs, which actually I think most of them worked. So if you've gone to the movie theaters a lot recently, you might have seen that like AMC Silence is Golden like little advertisement. That has a couple of the most funniest moments of the film throughout it. So, and those all got a majority of the laugh out of me. So, while watching this film, so I think it all worked really. So I enjoyed that. Next thing to talk about in here is, I'm sorry if I butcher the pronouncement of this name, but Maya Kealoha, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce her name, as Lilo in here. I thought she was very, very adorable in this movie, especially with her relationships between Stitch and Nani throughout the film. I thought they were built out excellently, and I think she acted very good in this film. So to eventually possibly lead up to some sequels, and she'll probably even act even better in those films. Which kind of brings me to my next positive, which I forgot to write down. There's no conflicts in this movie that didn't feel like they came out of nowhere. Like, they all felt natural. And there wasn't, like, too many moments, like, where Lilo got very, very mad at Stitch, which I actually appreciated, and thought that it made sense with her, Maya Kealoha's performance as Lilo, where Lilo in the animated movies, like, I'm not saying, so she's definitely mature in this, but, like, in the original animated movie, Lilo's hardcore mature and is very, when, for example, when the photo gets burned in that movie, she's very mad at Stitch for, even though they could at least just talk about it. But in this one, there's no conflicts, which I actually did appreciate and like. And most of the conflict came down between Nani and Stitch. Alright, and also the final positive of this movie, and I mentioned it before, and that is the marketing for the film. I think the marketing for the film was brilliant, from him popping up at the Super Bowl, him scanning your tickets at theaters, local theaters, that is, and even just him popping up in the opening teaser trailer for the film as well got a lot of views. So, yeah, the marketing for this film was very, very good. Alright, so that is the good done. Now let's move on to the mixed aspects of the film, the parts I'm 50-50 about. And the one key part of this is the changes that they added to this film. I'm very, very 50-50 on it. I'm pretty sure this is actually longer than the original film. Correct me if I'm wrong down below. I know it has like an hour and 48 minute long runtime, I'm pretty sure. But so I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but the beginning of the film feels, why does my hair always do its own thing? Anyways, okay, we'll just leave it there for comedic effect. But the beginning of this film, more like the first third of this, actually felt as if it was just a shot-for-shot remake. But then, as you go along, there's like little tiny added scenes in here, which the comedic ones definitely did work, as I talked about loosely before. But as for all the other ones, I don't know. I don't know if they added much. Like, in this one, they add this, like, Nana character in here. And also, they also don't take... Some characters are left out of this movie from the last film. From the animated film. So, for example, Gantu isn't even in here as the antagonist. He's not in here at all, which was actually a big surprise for me. So I kind of wished Gantu was in here, but it is what it is. It makes it different compared to the original film, so I'm fine with it because it does make it a little bit different instead of it being a shot-for-shot remake. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the bad. And number one thing in here is Zach Galifianakis as Jumbo. I actually really like Zach Galifianakis, but he was horribly miscast in this role. For those who've watched the movies and TV shows, you know that Jumbo has a very thick Russian accent. In this one, he doesn't. Zach Galifianakis just does the Zach Galifianakis thing. Kind of similar to Seth Rogen with the Super Mario Brothers movie from a few years ago where he played Donkey Kong. Speaking of, why don't we just bring it up right now? How they use Jumbo in this film. So, as I said before, Gantu is not in this film, so you're missing an antagonistic character towards Stitch, right? So, unfortunately, Jumba is the antagonist in here, really. So, and he ends up being the villain of the film, which I found because I am a fan of his character in the animated series and all the movies. So, seeing him as an actual villain for the movie, I thought was just, I don't know if I like that. You could have just at least introduced a new sort of villain, but they didn't do that, which was a little sad, but you know. Also, I talked about this before, but how the beginning of the film feels exactly like a shot-for-shot remake. I would say 80% of this movie feels as if it's a shot-for-shot remake, but then there's 20% of added new scenes in here with just live-action characters. So, I can't, that's the only reason why I can't say I like it. If they changed I can say I like it, but I can't say I love it. If they would have changed even more scenes up and changed the lore or something like that, I probably would say I love it, maybe, possibly. And as for the final negative of this movie, and I haven't had a movie similar to this go as fast as it has. because the movie's pace in this is incredibly fast. I haven't seen at least in a kids movie, family movie, in a long time go as fast paced as this one does. I mean, the whole entire time at the beginning of the film, I was going,
This feels exactly like a shot-for-shot remake. And in the middle part, they started adding some new scenes, but still, it still felt like just a live-action remake of the original film, beat for beat, most of the time.
but other than that, that is just my thoughts on Lilo and Stitch, the live action remake. But with that being said, let's bring out the Toxic Nita. And I am going to give this Toxic Goodness a B minus. I liked it. Can't say I loved it. It is definitely one of the better Disney live action remakes. I think it's certainly better than Snow White this year. But I can't say I liked it more than Mufasa yet. It depends on when I rewatch this one, but I still thought this was a solid watch. It's probably going to be a fun time with family, so if you have a family and are planning out a movie night, I think this would be a good choice. Maybe even a double feature with this and Mission Impossible, maybe, if you really want to go crazy, or just want to see one of them before you go out. But as I said before, that's just my thoughts on the film. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on this down below. But with that being said, guys, I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace.